everybody. How you doing today? Mary Ellen Van Auken, Susan Jennings. How you doing today, Sue?
I'm doing fine. How are you, Mary Ellen?
I'm doing great. Real estate ladies of North Atlanta. So today we have a treat for you. We are going to talk about 10 tips for a smooth family transition into a new home. We're going to talk about a neighborhood in Cumming called Sterling Point. And then we're going to talk about what we love about North Atlanta, which is the cost of living. And then we're going to have our tips of the design tips of the day from Sue, because she always has great tips for us. So let's get started, Sue. We're going to talk about the neighborhood highlight, which is Sterling Point, and It's in Cumming. So tell us a little bit about it and what you know.
Yeah, so Sterling Point is being built by John Whelan Homes. Okay. And the address of the community is 2520 Wilton Court in Cumming. Okay. The homes there will start at about 931 and go up from there. The size of the homes are 2,430 square feet up to about 3,320 square feet. And this is one of the newest communities to showcase the award-winning craftsmanship and luxury home builder, John Whelan.
Nice.
This luxurious community boasts the best of what South Forsyth has to offer, including access to great schools, serene sidewalk-lined streets, inviting amenities, and gorgeous new construction homes on estate-sized lots.
Nice.
So nearby, the things that we love are Fowler Park, where you can do so many things, play tennis, there's softball teams, there's just picnic areas, there's just so much to do there. The Collection at Forsyth is nearby for great shopping. Within the community itself, there's a luxurious pool and cabana. Nice. And of course, like I mentioned before, the top tier Forsyth County schools.
Yeah. And, Fowler Park is one of my favorite little parks because it's got everything. You got a dog park, you have pickleball, you have tennis, you have even a skateboard park, you have the greenway, you can bring your bike. It also has a track. It's just like a playground. And then you can rent areas there. So if you're having a big picnic or something for family or a corporate event, you can do that there too as well. So really great location in Cumming. And what we love about it is its location and great schools. So let's dig into our meat of our podcast today, which is 10 tips for a smooth family transaction into a new home. Because it's very stressful, right?
Right. Smooth family transition into a new home.
Did I say transaction? Oh my gosh. Transactions on my brain. Sorry. Transition. So number one is involve the kids. Okay, that's always fun. Let's give some ideas. Right. How do we involve the kids and maybe experience or story that we've encountered?
Yeah, so my family was relocated to Atlanta about 14 years ago with my husband's job. At that time, we had kids in school. And so, the oldest one was really happy to go, wanted a new adventure. And of course, the youngest one didn't want to leave their friends. Right. Yes. So, we had a lot of emotions going along with it, which a lot of kids do. But one of the first things we did with our kids was we got them involved in the community. We got them involved in their favorite sports activities, which at that time was softball. And we, immersed them and kept them busy. We, got them, involved in their teams, and they met new friends immediately. And so we also got them very involved in picking out their room in their new house and packing and decorating and labeling boxes and saying goodbye to their old friends, their old room. And we created a sense of excitement about the new city, the new town, the new neighborhood, the new friends, the new house. And we really, made them a part of the whole transition.
Yeah. And I think what's really important, especially like when you're showing a family with your kids were a little older, more in that emotional teenage years, but really the little ones is they get really excited about where's their bedroom, right? And what are we going to do to that bedroom? And where is it? And how big is their closet and all that kind of stuff? So we're just bringing that excitement into them so that even like, this is the house that they choose, bring the kids back in and say, okay, show me your bedroom. Show me what you're going to do. What color is going to be here and this and that. So I really do think getting those kids involved, and depending on any age, and then like naming the house, right? Like we've done this so many times with our clients, and having the kids name the house. Like, okay, we're going to go see 5 houses, and whoever has the most creative name of this house, we're going to put on, we're going to name this what's the most creative name you've heard from a kid?
Oh, goodness. Some of the names haven't been very good, but
like usually the kids will go a blue house, a pink house, or it has a media room, like it has a movie room or something, or pool house.
Right. We had one bedroom with a shocking pink bedroom, and everybody remembered the house by that one.
Yeah, so always naming the house is kind of fun for kids too, making a game of it. Also, there's activity books for kids to bring along while they're and just get them involved, like you're getting the parents involved. Like when you're showing you, the parents have all the different houses you're seeing, maybe just do a fun coloring book for them, so that keeps them busy and they're not running around crazy every house you see. So anything else to add about?
Since we were traveling quite a distance from where we used to live, we had a neighbor actually put together these little Rubbermaid baskets for our children, with all different types of toys and games they could play in the car, just to keep them entertained. The toys are long gone, but the baskets are still in use.
Oh, that's so interesting. And I think also, like, remember that like we're exhausted looking at 5 or 6 houses, and we do it all the time. Right. Then our clients are exhausted. Can you imagine kids? So also having those little snacks and little drinks goes a long way too.
Right. It really does.
All right. So what's number 2, Sue? Or we got anything else?
It leads into, exactly what we just talked about. With your children, make sure you maintain their normal routines.
Yes.
That if kids get hangry, it's all over. So make sure
parents get hangry and it's all over.
Yeah, we want to make sure that they are always fed on time, that they're getting their dinner when they should, that they're getting to bed when they should, and trying to maintain those normal activities and routines that we did before. Consistency makes the children feel more secure. It makes the adults feel more secure too, for that matter. And, it makes you feel more in control, and that, things are going smoothly if you're consistent.
Sure. Getting enough sleep is always good. So number 3 is explore the new neighborhood. Always fun. So, take a family walk, explore the neighborhood. I know every time somebody new comes on the block and people are walking down the street, everyone's like, hey, are you the new people? So people want to get to know the new people in the neighborhood. So I think walking the neighborhood with your kids, showing them the different areas, saying, oh, that's a cute house with these kind of flowers or whatever, looking at the tennis courts, the playgrounds, the pool, so that they know where everything is, and just make them feel comfortable, right? What else do we have to add about that on the new neighborhood, exploring the new neighborhood?
Right. So I just think it makes the children feel more excited about their home, when you make them a part of the whole transition and getting to learn where they are. We actually had one child that was really, really good at finding her way around, and we would get lost. And she'd be like, no, Mom, you have to turn here. It's on the left side of the road, not the right side of the road. So, they actually can be really, really helpful, because maybe they're...
And I think it's important to know where the school bus stops too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. Because they're going to be doing that every day. So this is where the school bus stops. This is where all your friends are going to be that you get on the bus to go to school. I think that's always important to point that out in the area too. That's why we always tell our clients to look at the neighborhood at different times of the day. Go when when the kids are getting off the school bus. So then
Mhm.
you kind of know the kids' ages and whatever, because we can't tell you that kind of stuff. But just like do your research and kind of drive the neighborhood on a Saturday morning, drive the neighborhood during school drop-off
Mhm.
time, and kind of see who's in the neighborhood.
Right, right. And as a parent, I think it's important to know the name of the school bus driver and say hello to the school bus driver so they can put a name to a face, that they
Sure.
know that, you're the parent that's going to be meeting this child at the school bus, and that you know their name and they know yours. I think that's important too.
Okay, so
Yeah.
number 4. So you can take over number 4. How about that?
This is part of that box that I mentioned earlier. This is like the comfort box where
Okay.
you want to fill it with your child's favorite toys, their books, a blanket, maybe a pillow, and make sure that they have all their favorite familiar things in their new surrounding.
Yeah.
So,
Anything to make it familiar for them.
right,
So whether it's a box or a basket or however anything, just something for them to feel comfortable in. I love that.
right,
What's
right.
number 5?
It's communicate openly, sit
Okay.
down with your kids. It doesn't have to be like the formality of a
Sure.
dinner table. You can just sit on the floor with them and talk to them and encourage them to express their feelings on what they're, excited about, what they're
Right.
afraid about, what they're looking forward to, what they might miss, and reassure them that, life is going to be normal. And if not, it's going to be better than it was before, hopefully, because otherwise they're going to feel anxious, and
Sure.
uncertainty creates anxiousness. So make them feel comfortable and talk about things.
Okay. So number 6, this is me. Oh my God. A welcome party. Number 6 is a welcome party. So invite the neighbors, invite friends, come
Mhm.
over and just meet the neighbors, have the kids feel comfortable with their next door neighbors, plan a party. Parties are always
Yeah,
fun.
I did this with one of our moves, with one of
Okay.
our homes many years ago. I did it on day 3 after we moved into the neighborhood. And we invited all the neighbors and anybody else that we knew in the area. And it was so much fun because it pushed me to get the kitchen set up in the first 3 days, to get things kind of organized on the first floor in 3 days, and get some of those extra
Yes.
stinky cardboard boxes out of there, and get life going as normal. But yeah, we did that on day 3 of the move, and it was fantastic. We had a great time.
Yeah, I think that's good. And I think the kids getting to meet other kids outside the school environment
Mhm,
and in their
mhm,
own home, like this is my new home. And then the kids get excited. And when the kids' neighbors come over, they show them their room and it's just like a
mhm.
new excitement. So yeah, I love that. I love the
Yeah,
welcome party. So
yeah.
what about number 7?
Well, number 7 is you might need an extra pair of hands. It depends upon the age of your kids. If
Right.
they're really little, maybe hire a babysitter or a nanny to come in and, either sit with them, read with them, get a snack for them, take them to the park, or do something with them while you're trying to unpack the boxes for their room, perhaps, and get their room set up, or get your kitchen established, things like that. It will make the kids feel like they're getting attention and that you're not ignoring them, because what you're trying to do is get them settled as quickly as possible, but we can't do all things at all times. So sometimes asking for help and hiring somebody to
Sure.
come in will be a nice little touch. That person could even just take them to the park or something like that.
It could even be someone in the neighborhood, give
Right.
them a couple extra bucks to do that. And kids have so much energy too, and you don't want them to get hurt running around the house. So have them
Hmm.
with somebody running around the park so it gives you your
Right.
time to get the house all in order.
Right.
All right. So what about number 8? I think you touched a little bit about
Right,
this.
I
So
did, and I talked about that in terms of your kids, getting them involved in school activities and sports and so forth in the local area. But don't forget about yourself as well. You're new to the area. You want to make friends also. Get yourself involved in the local community. Volunteering at the school was a great way for
oh
me
yes.
to meet other parents, and also to learn the names and personalities of some of my children's new friends. So volunteering at the school was a very good thing for me. But look for local groups and activities for not just your children, but for yourself as well, that you can
And
participate
what's
in
a
and get
big
immersed
thing
in
in
your new
Atlanta?
community.
What's a big
Hmm.
thing in Atlanta that most women will kind of gravitate towards? And it's on
Tennis.
tennis.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, tennis is huge here in Atlanta, and pickleball as well. But tennis has always been that thing that that's how, as a mom, with kids when they were younger and stuff. That's really what our friends started becoming because
Hmm.
of tennis. So, and
Hmm.
it's great because it's social, and then you get yourself out and you get exercise too. Join a local gym, like you said, do something that you like to do. So I love that.
Yeah,
Okay,
joining a local gym is a great thing to do,
sure.
even if you're not using it for social purposes. Just making yourself feel better about yourself will help you stay calm with the transition and feel more comfortable.
Okay, now we're up
And,
to
and then as you feel more comfortable with things, don't forget to celebrate victories. Celebrate, praise your children for their patience. Um, Praise them for their cooperation, even your
sure.
spouse's cooperations or patience with the move. Sometimes that's really important too. And just
You mean give him little
recognize.
candies? You give your husband candies because he's been behaving with the move.
Well, he
Husbands
likes
are good.
butterscotch and he likes chocolate, Mary
There
Ellen.
you
So
go. So
you can
like,
send
okay,
that my way
help me hang
anytime.
this photo. I mean, hang this picture or hang the TV. Okay, now you get a candy. So rewarding them, whether it's good,
Right.
and having those extra hands around is so good. And even I think giving the kids jobs themselves, like
Right.
see if they would take, depending on the ages. I think here you unbox things and you put them where you think they're going to go, and obviously you
Mhm.
can work with them so that they feel involved, and it's just not like, hey, get out of the house so I can get the house all in order. So it's, I think that's kind of good, is getting them involved. Sometimes having
Right.
some extra hands is always good.
Right. And one thing that's good, if you're moving close to a holiday, whatever the holiday is, get your kids to decorate the house for that. Because kids love to decorate. They love to make decorations too.
Sure.
And it just brings a whole nother element of fun and makes it their own by, decorating, whether it's Halloween or whether it's, St. Patrick's Day
Christmas.
or Valentine's Day or whatever it is. Yeah,
Yeah, and
exactly.
I think having like that craft box probably in your car when you're moving is probably a good
Yeah.
thing too, because then you can
Yeah.
have them depending on their ages, whether like coloring and stuff too. I had just a quick story is I had some clients move into a house, and the little boy, like everyone's running around putting things together, and he's like, will you color with me? Like he just wanted to get his coloring book out, and he was like 6, and I'm like, sure. And his mom's like, oh no, you don't have to do that. I go, oh yeah, I do. Like he felt so special because me as the realtor was there coloring with him, because it just was like, that was his soothing thing of moving in the new house. He was sitting on the
Hmm.
kitchen table. He had his coloring book out with his crayons, and he's like, will you color with me? And I'm like, sure. So, just little things like that really, just makes them soothe into being in that new house. All right. So number 10, okay, this one's good, is be patient and understanding. All right. So what do we have
Yes.
to say about being
Yes.
patient?
Well, moving is stressful for everyone.
Yes.
So you need to be patient with yourself.
Sure.
You need to give yourself some grace. You need to be patient with your spouse. You need to be patient with your family. And you need to focus on the positive. You need
Sure.
to remember the reasons why you're moving and, what the opportunities are for you. And you may not see it today, but when you look back in 5 years, I'm sure you will see, how great your move was and how it was a benefit to your family.
Sure.
I know our
Right.
move to Atlanta was great for our family. It was a good time in our kids' lives. Everybody, really transitioned well, but it took time. It took months. I mean, there were months, 6 months, 9 months down the road where somebody would say, I want to go home now. And it's like, well, no, we are home. But
Right. And I think
yeah.
looking at, when you have the whole family unit together, it's great.
Mhm.
We deal with people that go through divorce or, death in the family, and then they're having
Right.
to move. So just working on that new family unit, there's a lot of stress and there's a lot
Mhm.
of, you have to have a lot of patience, but you just have to give yourself a lot of grace because
Right.
sometimes in those trying times, it's hard. That's why it's always good to get the neighbors involved and have them. Like I was when I'm selling a house and the neighbor walks by, oh, how old are the kids or what this and that, and I'm like, hey, just bring them over cookies. Everyone loves cookies. So I love
Yeah.
when neighbors see neighbors moving in and they bring over a meal or they bring over cookies, and
Mhm.
just that little touch of love just goes a long way. Or
Right.
candy. I mean, you bring
Right.
kids over candy or ice cream or something just special for them, a little toy. It's amazing what an impact that will do.
Mhm.
So,
Right.
okay,
Right.
great.
And I think pets are a great comfort too. If you have pets, especially dogs, and you go out in the neighborhood and you walk your dog, say hello to your neighbors, say hello to the people around you, because dogs are a great icebreaker. They're a great way just to like get
Definitely.
to know the names and the faces of your neighbors and say a quick hello and wish them a nice day. So
Yeah, and I will tell you this quick story. So I had a neighbor who moved in and I was walking my dog and she was like running down the street to catch up with me because she's like, "Oh my God, someone in the neighborhood that likes to walk and has a dog." And we ended up being very close friends because of it. And I just remember she's like, "Do you remember me the first time that we met? I was like running after you in the neighborhood because I was just like looking for somebody that, like did what I like to do is like walk every day and stuff." And we ended up walking for many, many years every morning. So isn't that crazy how just walking my dog that one day and a new neighbor moved in and she was just like running down the street to talk to me. It was great.
hey, I've got one better than that for you, Mary Ellen.
Okay, go
I
ahead.
moved into a brand new house in 1998. I know that's a long time ago, but at that
Yes.
time I had a 3-year-old. And of course, I was busy looking at one thing, and my 3-year-old slipped out the door and went the other way, and I didn't even
Oh
realize it.
no.
So my 3-year-old's walking down the street, and this dear lady by the name of Ray Klein, of course, finds my daughter and brings her up to the door. She figured, well, she knew every other neighbor. It must be this house where this little girl belonged. And Ray and I have been friends ever since.
I thank God, right? That is really, but you know what? You're right. Kids, oh my God, kids will talk to anybody. So you have like a 3 or 4-year-old or a 5-year-old. Oh my, they'll talk to everybody. So that's like if you're moving and you have a 3, 4, or 5-year-old, just walk in the neighborhood because they'll say hi to everyone like that. So I think these are great tips on transitioning your whole family into a new home. So let's get on with what we love about North Atlanta. So today, what we love about North Atlanta, I can't even say it, is the cost of living. So let's
Mhm.
dig into that a little bit, Sue.
Well, it depends upon where you're moving from in the country as to what your
Sure.
perception of value is. Both Mary Ellen and I are from the Northeast. And I think most of you know the Northeast is kind of an expensive area to live in,
Sure.
like from Washington, D.C. north. And so when we moved to Atlanta, we really felt that we had a bargain. Now, I think prices in Atlanta have significantly gone
Yes.
up
Yes.
in the area, as well as
Yes.
taxes and so forth, since we moved here. But it's still a value to live here for the amount of house you get for the price,
Sure.
compared to places in California, places up in the Northeast, Chicago. I mean, those are all much more expensive places to live in. But I think when you factor in, do some research and realize, what you get here for your money, for the square footage of your home and everything else and the amenities and the neighborhoods. I know, we have more HOAs here than up in the north. That's just because our neighborhoods here are newer, or the
Sure.
construction of the homes are newer here. But in general, I think the homes are bigger here than they were in the Northeast as well. I think your taxes are lower here. I find that my insurance is about the same, maybe a little bit less than it was up in the Northeast. But in general, I think the cost of living here in Atlanta is much lower.
And gas prices are lower usually.
Mhm.
Like
Mhm.
for some reason, Georgia, I think because the way we are on the gas line or whatever, is one of the cheapest places in the United States for gas, believe it or not.
Mhm.
So, you
Mhm.
just take that into effect. I know that people like electricity. And so like a lot of people have electricity and gas. So what we
Mhm.
say is that your electricity is going to be higher in the summertime with all the AC going on and stuff like that. But
Right.
in the wintertime, your gas bill will be higher. So I find like utilities are a little are much less than they are in California and the Northeast. So
Right.
let's look at it that way. I think it's a very affordable place. You can find a lot for your money. Yes, things have gone
Mhm.
up in the past 10, 15, 20 years, but it has everywhere else around the country too.
Right.
So I still feel like you can get most of the time when we have clients that come from other parts of the country, what is usually one of their biggest surprises is like, wow, this is a lot of house for my money.
It is. Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
think
I
that
mean, it's
like I've
pretty.
heard that all the time you hear
Mhm.
that.
Mhm. Yeah.
So
In general, the homes here are all pretty big. I mean, when I came from the Philadelphia area and like the neighbors next door raised 5 kids in a 3-bedroom home with, 2 bathrooms, you would never find that here for the most part. The homes here are all fairly spacious, large. They are newer, and that contributes to a lot of that size
sure.
factor. That there's more homes here than there were up in the Northeast.
Right. And I would just even say, like, because the houses are newer than they are in the Northeast and other places in the country, that you also have like bigger closets and things that
Hmm.
bigger open floor plans. So
Right.
when you're a lot of times you go and you see a house that was built in the 60s or 70s. We don't have a lot of that stuff. Yes, we do down in Atlanta, but really in North
Hmm.
Atlanta, I would say most of the homes have been built in the last 30 or 40 years. So you're going
Right.
to find what was trending then. And as they're
Right.
building the newer houses, of course, you're going to get into the trends of what's going on here. So,
Right. Right. And a couple quick things. They do say that on average, it is the cost of living in Atlanta is 4% lower than it is somewhere else in the country on, like an average, a national average. The one thing I can say about Atlanta is from a career standpoint, it's a growing city and the number of companies here is
sure.
phenomenal, and the job opportunities here are really phenomenal. I was just talking to somebody last night who said they had picked up and moved to Atlanta because they knew that about Atlanta, but they moved here before they had a job, and they knew they could get a job here in their field. And this is somebody who's very well respected in their field, has, very well paid in their field, and yet chose Atlanta for their home because of the diversity here and the opportunities here.
Yeah. So what we
Hmm.
love about North Atlanta is the cost of living and everything about that. So
Hmm.
let's dig into our design tip of the day. So what are we going to talk about today?
We're actually
Layer
going to talk
different
about
window
something
treatments. Sure.
Something that people don't do a whole lot with, but they're still needed in your home. Window treatments. I'm not talking about those big, heavy drapes and so
Sure.
forth that they had back in the 80s and early 90s, but you still need to cover your windows, maybe your bedroom or your bathroom windows, things where you need your privacy or you need darkness so that you can sleep and get a nice, restful night's sleep.
Sure.
So you can be creative with this. Window treatments in general, I think, have
Mhm.
gotten less expensive over the years because there's more competition in that field. You can get pretty nice window treatments at Home Goods or Lowe's or Home Depot. You don't have to go to, a custom high-end designer to do it, although you can if you'd like to. Um, but you can layer different types of treatments over top of each other. Like you can just do traditional pull down shades, or you can do a pleated shade. You can do blinds, you can do plantation shutters, but you can still put a sheer or a soft treatment over top of that. And sometimes people will do this not just for light and privacy, but also for sound. So if you've got a room where you've got sound bouncing a lot, you might want to take into
Hmm.
consideration some additional fabric in the room, and fabric could be in the form of draperies, and that will deaden the sound a bit in the room. So just remember, keep it functional, keep it dynamic, and keep it happy.
Right. And just to your, whatever your style is too. Like some people like, you want to cover your windows. I'm sorry, unless they're like especially your bedroom windows, because you sleep, you want to have blinds, whether they're wood blinds, whether they're plantation shutters, whether it's draperies or whatever. So just go to your style too as well. So great. Thank you so much for that tip. And we had such a great day of talking about a new community and Cumming. We talked about 10 things on how to transition your family into a new home, the cost of living, about what we love about North Atlanta, and some great design tips about window treatments from Sue. So that was great. So feel free to follow us on all of our socials. And also, if you want to be involved in our weekly newsletter, which we do all the community events, what's going on in Alpharetta, Milton area, feel free to do that. And thank you so much for your time. And Sue, thank you. And everybody have a great day. All right. Take care. Bye.
Bye.